and welcome to Home with Sarah Jane. Today's video is going to be kind of like my thoughts and opinions and a little mini flip through of The Good and the Beautiful's Level 8 book study, The Touch of Magic, and the Story of My Life. So if you're new here, hello and welcome. My name is Sarah and I'm a homeschooling mom to two girls ages 10 and 14. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for stopping by once again. I do really appreciate you. So first things first is this video is not sponsored. I did purchase this course with my own money, and these my thoughts and opinions are my own, basically, is what I'm trying to say, if I can speak. So today I just wanted to share kind of how we felt about the course and whether or not I thought that it was enough. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and start off with a little bit of a flip through and a little bit of my thoughts and opinions, and I'll kind of wrap it up at the end and let you know exactly how it went for us. Okay, so in order to complete this level 8 book study, you of course need the book. So you need 3 different books. One of them is the actual reader that your child will be reading through, which is this one here. And again, we are going to be flipping through The Touch of Magic and The Story of My Life. So there's 2 books in this one book that your child will be reading through. You also need the Level 8 Book Study Guide, and this covers writing, spelling, grammar usage and punctuation, vocabulary, literature, handwriting, and art. Now, I did notice when I was flipping through this, it does still cover a little bit of geography in here as well, so that was a nice little bonus. And then you also need The Good and the Beautiful Grammar and Writing Guide. Now, this is actually a book that your child, if you choose to use The Good and the Beautiful's language arts for high school, this book is a part of the high school course, but you do need this book in order to complete the level 8 book studies as well. It is actually in the materials that are needed section of their book studies. So this is a required piece of the book studies as well. I just wanted to make that very clear because I was pretty confused on that at the very beginning. I didn't realize that I needed this book to go along with the book study. I thought that this was just for high school, but come to find out, it is actually referenced throughout the book study itself. So you do need this one as well. So let's take a look at the actual reader. So in the reader, again, this is just a basic chapter book. It just has 2 stories in it. I did like that it added some actual photos throughout the book. I thought that that was just, you know, a really nice touch. And as you can see, this first section is going to be the first book that your child is reading, which is The Touch of Magic. And then the second one is going to be The Story of My Life by Helen Keller. And again, I like that they have the actual photos inside of the reader. So that was just, you know, a nice little bonus. Now, when it comes to the actual course book, or book study guide, whatever you want to call it. Here, let me see if I could get a little closer for you guys. Okay, hopefully that's better. Okay, so when you're using this book, I did want to mention that there are 30 lessons in this book study. The Good and the Beautiful does have, I think, 2 other level 8 book studies to choose from, but the lessons, there's different lessons throughout all the different book studies. This one specifically has 30. So this first section just goes over what the book studies are all about, what topics are included in here, who the book studies are for, which I really like that they have this section because my daughter Bella, who's actually using these book studies this year, or currently, honestly, she finished their language arts level 7 at the beginning of second semester. So I didn't want her to go from level 7 into high school. She's currently in the 8th grade. So I didn't want her to go straight into a high school course. So these book studies were perfect, like little fillers until the end of the school year. So I was really happy that we had an option instead of just moving straight into high school. So there's that. But they talk about how these book studies are just, you know, a way for your child to read a good book and study language arts at the same time. It talks about the materials needed, and it does say here, The Good and the Beautiful Grammar and Writing Guide is under the materials needed, like I mentioned earlier. And what I really liked is this section here really helped me out. It talked about how many book studies should be completed and in what order, how long they should take, and how you should use these book studies. This section, like I was saying, helped me out a lot. They say that each lesson should take about 25 to 35 minutes. Obviously that's depending on your child. And they also mention that if you are using these book studies as your sole language arts curriculum, that they recommend that your child do 1 to 2 lessons per day, not just 1 lesson every single day, but they would go 1 to 2 lessons a day. So I really like that they pointed that out for me, because if you look at this book, some of the lessons seem pretty short and you kind of think, is that enough? Well, if you're doing multiple lessons in a day, yeah, it is enough. At least I feel it is enough for Bella. So, but Bella is my language arts kid. She loves writing. She loves reading. So this was definitely enough for her. She did really enjoy these. So I did want to point that out as well, that because we were using this as our sole language arts, she did more than 1 lesson in a day on some days. Some days on the longer lessons, she only did 1, but on the shorter lessons, she did 2. Okay, so now we have at a glance. The at a glance page, it points out that you have 30 lessons and then everything that's going to be covered in this course. Now, again, they're going to be doing art, but the art that they're going to be covering is nature and art appreciation, famous nature artists, art instruction with colored pencils. We really love that. Grammar usage and punctuation. So they continue to review the following grammar usage and punctuation rules from their past levels. So my daughter, again, she finished up level 7. Well, she'll continue to review the same concepts from level 7 throughout this course. So it's a nice transition. And then there's commonly confused words, literary devices like similes, metaphors, foreshadowing, imagery, onomatopoeia, things like that. She's also going to have handwriting in this book, which I thought was really neat. So they added in handwriting by using inspirational quotes from Annie Sullivan and Helen Keller. I thought that was really cool to add into this book. They also cover homophones, correlated literature studies, so, adding in poetry by John Greenleaf Whittier, biography of Alexander Graham Bell. They also go over rule breakers and commonly misspelled words, and then writing. One thing I did really enjoy about these book studies, because again, my daughter completed 2 of them already, this is the last one she needs to complete, is that throughout the different book studies, you study a different style of writing. I thought that was pretty cool. So in this one, she's going to be studying writing effective short answer responses and just general writing instruction and practice. Now, when she did Wild Like the Foxes, the level 8 book study through the Good and the Beautiful, she studied letter writing. So I just thought it was really cool that they can study different types of writing throughout the different book studies. This is just a couple pages of vocabulary, some more vocabulary, and then it goes into lesson 1. I'm going to show you a few of these lessons broken down, and then I'll just go ahead and, do a quick little flip through of the pages. But in lesson 1, you have your course introduction. You have where you learn about biographies and autobiographies. And then you have some reading. What I liked about this section is that it asked her to take notes as she's reading about, some of the inspiration or inspirational things that she found in Annie Sullivan and Helen Keller. So as she reads the biography, she is going to be taking notes about how they overcame hardships, and how they, overcame like just difficult situations and things. So I really liked that it asked her to take notes throughout the reading of this course. So I thought that was really neat. Sometimes we forget about taking notes as homeschoolers, so I really like that it was pointed out right here. And then it goes into her reading chapter 1, and that is lesson 1. Now, lesson 2 is spelling, homophones. It talks about writing short sentences using these words correctly. Vocabulary, filling in the blank, and reading chapter 2. So all of the lessons pretty much have the same setup, but they cover different things throughout the lessons. So like if you see in lesson 3, it talks about editing, but it pulls in the grammar and writing guide in lesson 3. So in lesson 3, it says to read the adjective and adverb rule number 3, double negatives on page 12 in the grammar and writing guide, and then edit this section. So she would pull out this book, go to the correct page. If I could go to the correct page. Here we go. So page 12. she would read this section about the adjective and adverb rule number 3, double negatives. What I like about this is that it explains it to her, but then it also gives her examples on how to do it and how not to do it. So again, I do think the grammar and writing guide is really important for this course, and I see why it is considered a material that is needed to complete the unit or the book study. So I did like this being not dragged, that made it sound bad, being pulled in to the book study. So after editing, they go into reading chapter 3. And then there's some art that she would be doing. Lesson 4 goes over spelling, reading. Here's handwriting using inspirational quotes, and some more art where they actually study the image. Here's something I wanted to show you as well. They actually, in lesson 13, they get to learn about Dr. Alexander Graham Bell and read a small biography about him as well. So I thought that that was really cool as well to have in here. And then after they read that, they actually write a short answer response. So I like how they have like writing assignments every so often to kind of keep that writing process fresh in their mind. So like on here, it tells them, what do you feel was Alexander Graham Bell's greatest contribution to the world? So they have to write about that. And then it asks them to check it. Like, did they answer the question? Did they answer the question in full sentences? Does your answer have a topic sentence that states the main idea? Did you use 2 to 3 reasons, details, or explanations? Does your answer have a concluding sentence that states the main idea? So it does go over this style of writing, which again, I do really like. Okay, I did kind of want to just mention in here, this one does cover geography in this lesson, and it covers Puerto Rico. This was lesson 16. I just kind of wanted to show you how they covered, you know, certain aspects of geography. So this one, they read about Puerto Rico, they observe the map, they also trace and label this map in their notebook, and they color, you know, they color it as well, and things like that. And then they actually review photos of Puerto Rico. So I really like that. I mean, the photos and art that The Good and the Beautiful uses is, you know, it's beautiful. It's good and it's beautiful. So I do enjoy the pictures that are included in this. Now, after they review and learn about Puerto Rico, it prompts them to write a short answer response in their notebook. So I do like that there are so many prompts to write a short answer response, because I just feel like it really gives them that opportunity to learn this type of writing. And there was a lot of prompts in here. At least I felt that there was enough prompts in here for my daughter to really understand this style. So I did like that. And I did like that they have these, like, you know, make sure you have this and that and, you know, whatever in your writing. So I did like that they had these little check it boxes as well. And again, a lot of these lessons are set up like the first few that I had showed you, only they start to cover different things. Like sometimes they're writing short response answers, sometimes they're reading poetry, sometimes they're doing geography. So I do like that it kind of mixes it up through each day, so it doesn't become like mundane and boring. And then this is the last page, and it ends with writing a short response. Finish off this flip through. I did want to kind of show you through the grammar and writing guide because it is referenced throughout this book study. So in here, now I know that they're not doing this entire book, you know, as a whole during the book study, but it does take out certain concepts from this book for your child to learn. So in here, they learn about grammar, punctuation, and usage, and then it breaks down all of the different things that they're learning. And then they are also, let me move that, they're also learning about commonly confused words. And then again, there is a section of writing, and it does list all of the different styles of writing. So this section is grammar, in the grammar writing guide, is terms to know and parts of speech. I like that they have this as well because it does give you the breakdown of even the basic parts of speech. So adjective, adverb, an article, coordinating conjunction, direct object, interjection. I can't say that word. Noun, preposition. So, you know, basic parts of speech, sentence types, literary terms. It goes over the editing marks that they should know to complete their editing. Sentence diagramming rules. Again, they're not necessarily using everything inside of this grammar and writing guide while they're doing these book studies, but this is a book, like I was saying earlier, that will be used in the high school courses. So they will eventually work their way through this book. I know I'm going through this kind of quickly, but there is so much information in here. I just wanted to kind of show the, kind of the outline of the book and the way that it's set up, because the information on the inside, I mean, there's just so much. See, like in here, it goes over essay writing, writing conclusions and body paragraphs, journal entries or insights journal, beyond the 5-paragraph essay, pre-writing. I mean, this book has so much information in it. I feel like this is going to be a very useful book, not just during the book studies, but also while she's taking the high school course. Okay, so now that you have an idea of what the book studies look like and how they kind of work, I did want to share just a few more thoughts and opinions before I end this video. And I did want to mention that my daughter did complete the other 2 book studies already, and she's just about to start the one that I shared with you today. But I did want to share that she completed Wild Like the Foxes. This one had 19 lessons in it, I believe, and she did really like it. She said the story was fine, like she didn't have a problem with the story itself. She liked the way that the book study was set up, and I really liked, because the part that I was questioning was it going to be enough writing for my daughter Bella? Is she going to be able to cover enough writing in this book study? And for us, the answer was yes. Yes, it did cover enough writing for us. All of the book studies that she completed and the one she's about to complete, I do feel like has enough for her. Now, if you have a struggling writer that needs more instruction on writing, you might want to add in like a practice workbook or something like that. But for her, because she doesn't really struggle in language arts and she has a really great understanding of how to write in different styles and types, I didn't feel that she needed anything extra. But I will share that at the beginning, when I was questioning these, I did add in a couple of workbooks, but it turned out that they were not needed. She felt that she was just doing double the amount of work but wasn't really getting anything from those extra workbooks that I added for her because she didn't need extra help. So we did feel that these covered enough. So the second one that she completed, she's just finishing this one up, is the Abraham Lincoln book study. Now with this one, she said this had so much great information in it. She really enjoyed all of the history and learning about Abraham Lincoln and things like that. And she did really enjoy the actual course, again, what she had to do in the assignments. So for her, these were really, really perfect to just kind of wrap up her 8th grade year. And again, I just thought that they were so perfect to add in right before high school because it's teaching her how to do this book study, which is something that we didn't normally do all the time. Like we might read a book, talk about it, discuss it, but in these, it guides her through learning and practicing her language arts skills, all based around this story that she's reading. And we really, really enjoyed that. Now, these will probably be something that I'll use again with my youngest daughter if she has time between level 7 and high school. So I thought that these were a huge win. I'm very happy that we went ahead and picked these up for her. And I'm actually really excited that she gets to finish all 3 of them. Again, she was doing a lot of the time more than one lesson a day because this did make up her entire language arts curriculum for 2nd semester. But again, I think this was a really fantastic way to prep her for some of the book studies she'll be doing in high school. I did want to mention really quick, the one thing I did not like about these book studies is that there was only 3 different options to choose from. And although it worked out for us because we needed 3 to complete the year, it would have really been nice to have more options for my child to actually choose from. That is it for today. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comment section. Thank you so much for stopping by. You have a great day. Bye.